Should you go for light or heavy weights to accelerate muscle growth? It's a question that has sparked debate in the fitness world. Traditionally, the bodybuilding community has spread the belief that muscle growth primarily occurs when lifting heavier weights for a low number of reps. Conversely, using lighter weights for moderate to high repetitions was thought to be more suitable for endurance training rather than muscle growth. Considering this, it may appear that, from a hypertrophy standpoint, lifting heavy weights holds an advantage. However, scientific research has challenged this long-held belief, and in this video we will explore several studies on this subject to conclude with the best approach to optimize muscle growth. A lot of initial research on this subject was done by Stuart Phillips and his colleagues. In their 2012 study, they enlisted 18 male participants to train their leg muscles on the leg extension machine 3 times a week over 10 weeks. The participants were divided into 3 groups. Group 1 performed 3 sets with 30% of their 1 rep max, 1 RM, for 30 to 40 reps. Group 2 performed 1 set with 80% of their 1 RM for 10 to 12 reps. Group 3 performed 3 sets with 80% of their 1 RM for 10 to 12 reps. The outcome? Quadriceps muscle growth was nearly identical in groups 1 and 3, indicating that both light and heavy weights resulted in comparable muscle mass gains when volume was equalized. However, this study received criticism for using untrained individuals who tend to respond to almost any stimulus and still experience muscle growth, potentially skewing the results. Subsequently, Phillips and his team conducted a similar study in 2016, involving 49 men with an average of 4 years of lifting experience. This time, they employed a whole-body resistance training program using a similar protocol as the previous study. The results once again demonstrated that the load used did not dictate hypertrophy. In other words, both light and heavy weights elicited equal muscle growth. Another recent review of 4 studies published in the Human Kinetics journals in 2021, all of which used experienced lifters as their subjects, also showed that muscle growth is possible when lifting light weights and taking sets to failure. The individuals who trained to failure with low loads showed similar levels of hypertrophy as those who trained with higher loads and fewer reps. All of these findings suggest that the amount of weight lifted isn't the sole contributing factor in muscle gain. They have reached to the same conclusion that light weights and heavy weights lead to similar muscle growth when volume is equalized and sets are taken close to failure. Based on this, it seems lifting light weights is as beneficial as lifting heavy weights, with no inherent advantages to heavy lifting. But, it's worth noting that the choice between light and heavy weights is not that arbitrary or as straightforward as commonly believed, and there are several factors that must be considered. First, when it comes to strength, a meta-analysis published in June 2023 in the British Journal of Sports Medicine comparing heavy and light weights showed that heavy weights tend to yield more strength gains, which, in the long run, could translate to better hypertrophy compared to lighter weights. Second, training to failure with higher reps and lighter weights is significantly more challenging due to increased metabolic stress. In fact, some studies have shown that athletes training with lighter weights and higher repetitions may experience discomfort, and in extreme cases, vomiting during their workouts. 2 of the main mechanisms of muscle growth are mechanical tension and metabolic stress. When you lift heavier weights, you generate more mechanical tension, and when you lift lighter weights and more reps, you trigger more metabolic stress. Both mechanisms lead to equivalent muscle growth when equated for volume. So, to reap the strength benefits of heavy loads while curtailing any undue metabolic stress from training near failure with low loads and high reps, it is beneficial to adopt a balanced approach by leveraging both mechanisms in your workout for optimal muscle growth. Building strength using heavy weights with compound exercises should be the cornerstone of your long-term training. In addition, according to hypertrophy expert Brad Schoenfeld, pursuing the pump via higher rep sets with light weights and short rest periods can provide a strong hypertrophic stimulus synergistic to heavy compound lifting. Thus, you should also consider including higher reps with lighter weights into your isolation exercises after your heavy compound sets to exploit other pathways for muscle hypertrophy. This can be achieved by including a couple sets of 20+ reps to near failure towards the end of your workout, or through using techniques like drop sets and reverse pyramid training. For example, for your chest workout, you could start heavy with 2 compound bench press exercises to build your strength and induce mechanical tension for muscle growth. Then, to trigger the metabolic stress, add a few drop sets in your last set of the incline bench press and use lower weight with higher rep range to perform your dumbbell flies and pec deck isolation exercises. Another way to include heavy and low loads in your workout is to consider a periodization approach for your compound lifts by training near to failure and cycling through different rep ranges and loads. For example, you can do 3 sets of squat 10 to 12 reps with 70 to 75% load in the first session, 5 sets of 4 to 6 reps with 85 to 90% load in the second session, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps with 75 to 80% load in the third session. You could cycle the intensity and volume on a daily basis from one workout session to another, on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. You could even perform these 3 sets in the same workout session as another possible way to target different rep ranges and loads to maximize muscle stimulation. Personally, cycling monthly is my preferred option as it will give the body enough time to progressively overload and gain more strength for the next cycles. So to sum it all up guys, it's beneficial to incorporate both heavy and light weights into your workout routine to optimize muscle growth. Heavy weights should be prioritized for compound exercises to build strength and induce mechanical tension. Lighter weights with higher reps can be used in isolation exercises to trigger metabolic stress and exploit other pathways for hypertrophy. Techniques like drop sets and reverse pyramid training can be helpful. Periodization, cycling through different rep ranges and loads, is another effective approach to incorporate both heavy and light weights into your training. This allows for progressive overload and balanced muscle stimulation. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all answer to the light versus heavy weights debate. Both have their place in a well-rounded workout routine, and the choice should align with your fitness goals and preferences.